No one does that. No one's like, let me take the promotion and offer it to an affiliate as well. They're only offer it to customers. And if you offer it to affiliates, you can do it way more often, right? Like
Totally.
You can't offer 25% off every week to your customers. You're going to ruin your brand. You can offer 25% once a month, twice a month to affiliates to try and get that flywheel effect going.
Totally.
I've seen some brands being like the number one affiliate will get a Toyota Camry this weekend.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of being in retail and telling Whole Foods, we'll give you 5 extra pallets if you give us placement at the front of the store. This is Limited Supply, the place for refreshingly real takes on what D2C is really like.
We're your hosts, Nik and Moiz. Let's start talking about money.
Hundreds of direct-to-consumer brands use Tatari's platform to buy and measure TV ads just like digital. They have deep publisher relationships that give you the best CPMs on linear and streaming TV. Check out their 3-minute demo video at tatari.tv/limited supply.
Okay, Nik, episode 5. Almost halfway through the season already. The season's flying by.
Honestly, I think this is my favorite season we've done. Yeah. Every episode's been in person.
Yeah. That's
which means I have to bike down here to Soho, blasting Taylor Swift in my ears, getting pissed off at people who stop halfway across the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Whenever I'm biking, I'm always like, I hate everyone in cars. And when I'm in a car, I'm like, I hate everyone.
Yeah. And same with walking.
Yeah.
You hate both.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The theme of this episode is going to be marketing. I'm excited about this episode. I was actually inspired. I mean, we had to do a marketing one, but I saw a couple clips that I read about that got me really excited about this. And I want to tell you 2 of them. I haven't introduced this to you at all. And then we're going to talk about affiliate marketing. We're going to talk about landing pages. We're going to talk about social media, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff. We're going to reserve some of the other ones like television for another episode. But let me tell you why I was really inspired by this. Vivek Ramaswamy, your favorite guy from your home country. So to qualify for the debates the debates were last night. To qualify for the Republican presidential debates, you needed 40,000 contributions. Okay, you needed 40,000 individual people to contribute to your campaign. Mm-hmm. And people were struggling with this. People thought Mike Pence wouldn't get it. And so one of the things that Vivek did in order to get it is he said, join my kitchen cabinet. If you go out and help me raise money, you will get a 10% commission through my unique donation link. So if you go out and get people to give money to Vivek and they use your link, you're going to get a 10% kickback.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. But the guy who was the governor of North Dakota, Doug something, I forgot what his last name is, he was the most reasonable and as a result, the most boring person probably last night. He had also started a business and made a fortune. He's the governor of North Dakota. He did something similar where he's like, if you donate $1 to my campaign, I will give you $20.
Wow.
I will fund that $20 out of my own pocket if you just give me $1 because I need to hit this 40,000 threshold in order to be on the debate stage last night.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I was like, look at these guys. You know, I bet they're running Facebook ads for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And so I was like, okay, we got to do a marketing episode.
The last election cycle, I worked on a presidential campaign. All of it came down to the messaging in the ads, the funnels that were built on landing pages, and trying to get people to just donate something.
Can you talk about it or you can't?
Not really.
Okay, yeah. That's a very, I didn't know that about you. So
yeah.
That's a big statement. Okay, let's move on to affiliate marketing.
Yep.
When I talk about affiliate marketing, I think there's a few ways to think about this. I'm not necessarily talking about like influencer marketing in particular, but I'm talking about affiliates. Some random person finds out about you and starts talking about your product. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with what we did at Native, which was terrible. But really what we did is we basically put our products up on ShareASale. Do you know ShareASale?
Oh, yeah.
ShareASale is ripe for an acquisition by a private equity firm.
Yeah,
Let me start by saying that. I don't know who owns it right now.
It's pure shit.
It's garbage. They actually don't charge enough for what they do. They could charge a little, like they could charge more. They could improve their features. I think it's ripe for an acquisition by a private equity company. But what we did is we put our products on ShareASale. Then you put a bunch of marketing collateral on ShareASale, like photos of your products. Mm-hmm. So people are writing blog posts or creating banner ads on their yeah, exactly. And then affiliates can go in. So as a merchant, you put your products and all that, and the prices and all that kind of stuff. And then affiliates can go in and say, you know what, I want to plug Native deodorant or Nectar mattresses and put those products up on their blog or whatever site that they've got or however they want to do it. They could also do it as an influencer. They could be like, I'm going to do this through my Instagram page.
Yeah.
What's interesting about ShareASale and why I wanted to bring it up is because they have a thing called their top 100 merchants. And you don't see their top 100. If you sign up as a merchant, there's a different login for merchants and affiliates. If you sign up as a merchant, you don't see the top 100. If you sign up as an affiliate, you do see the top 100. And I was always curious, like when I started Native, I started, I started an affiliate account as well. And I was like, let me see who's in the top 100 and what they're doing really successfully. At some point, Native got in the top 100. One of the top guys before used to be Nectar Mattresses. And then the other thing that I was looking at is like, the other thing that they tell you if you log in as a merchant is how much commission are you going to get from this company? Like, are they going to give you 1%, 5%, 10%, 50%? What are they going to give you? The number one merchant right now on ShareASale is a wedding apparel company called Desi Group. Wow. I've never heard of it. It's offering 5% per sale. Let's say you drive 100 people to their site on average. How many people, let's say you click a ShareASale link, how many people are getting to that site and making a purchase? And how much is the merchant earning? And on this site, it's incredible conversions. The merchants are earning on average $4.37 per click over to the site. Now, it's probably very qualified traffic and everything to that effect, but they're number one on ShareASale for merchants. The next 5 guys are business services, like think LegalZoom. It's not LegalZoom, but it's basically those guys. Let us help you file a corporation. Let us help you be your registered agent. Like, we'll pay you a fortune if you can get us a company where we can be the registered agent in like Delaware, because that guy's going to pay us $500 every year as long as his business is around.
Right.
Number 33 was EarthBreeze. Do you know EarthBreeze?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
They're offering 2% per sale, a shitty 2% per sale.
Wow.
And they're number 33. 34, Salt and Stone, 10% per sale. 35 is Byte Aligners, like invisible aligners, like, think Smile Direct Club. $45 per lead plus $45 per sale.
Wow.
Number 46 is Hum Nutrition. You know those guys, 10% per sale. 48 is Buffy, 10% per sale. Number 66, and I don't know how it's still here, is a company that doesn't exist anymore, Parade.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was looking at these because I wanted to see what they were doing really well. And, one of the things that I was surprised by was everyone was offering such shitty commissions. Buffy's AOV is probably pretty good. Hum Nutrition's AOV is pretty good. Byte Aligner's AOV is probably really good. But Salt and Stone is going to have $30, $50 AOV. When I was running Native, I would offer 50% commissions. I'd say, look, we're going to pay 50% to Facebook. Why don't we pay 50% to you? And I'm shocked that EarthBreeze is offering 2% per sale. Like, why are they not increasing their affiliate commission?
That feels very low. What I've generally found is affiliate works really well when the brand is already super well known and it becomes a convenience to the person with the list or the audience to just plug it and know that it's something that's going to resonate. Versus, like what doesn't work is brands reach out to affiliates and say, hey, please plug us. We'll give you a percentage. They don't want to be approached like that. They want to find you and feel like their audience would resonate.
Yeah.
2% feels very low. And I also agree. I mean, I remember when I was at Hint, I would go meet with the BuzzFeed affiliate team, the Refinery affiliate team, and all these other publishers. And I would say, I'll give you 30%, I'll give you 40%, because for the same reason, like, why would I not take that offer and instead pay Facebook more versus just give you a measly 10%? Amazon also gives like 8 to 10% anyways. So if you're selling on Amazon, you're not really incentivizing somebody to drive traffic to your site.
I have no idea why anyone would send people to EarthBreeze here. And I have no idea how they're number 33 instead of someone saying, let me just link to Amazon's EarthBreeze page on Amazon where I can get 7, 8% or 4%, certainly more than 2%.
So with ShareASale, you get a ton of just shit affiliates that sign up.
Oh, yeah. And they're all based in Pakistan.
Yeah. And for a lot of those, I would manually go and put their commission at 1%, the coupon sites. Yeah. But, maybe that was an accident by EarthBreeze. I think they're insanely popular and people love buying them. I know they do a lot of performance marketing too, so they could just be ripping and maybe that 2%. They
don't care about it. Yeah. I always decline those coupon sites because I'm like, I don't want you to be able to have this thing. Like, yes, they're all like, and they all pretend like they're based in the United States. They're like, yes, our office is 123 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. Please let us be affiliate. We good now.
Penthouse floor.
Yeah. We good? They'll say we good, period.
Yeah.
We are good people, period. And it's obviously crazy. But the reason I was bringing this up is because I think not enough people are investing resources here. There is a scale of once you get into the top 50 on ShareASale or something, there is a little bit of a viral effect where as an affiliate, you go on and you're like, who are the top 100 on here? It's really, it's a really big button to see the top affiliates or the top merchants. And then you're like, these are probably the ones that I can make a lot of money off of.
Yeah.
And so once we cracked into the top 50 at Native, we started doing a lot more affiliate sales. So I always thought people should invest more resources in this. It's probably not the first thing you do, but it's certainly within the first 5 things you do, because it's a lot of set it and forget it as well. Put your stuff on there, put your marketing collateral on there. Maybe you update your marketing collateral once a year, put a really high commission so that people get excited about it.
Yep.
But then there's a couple other things that I thought people should do. One is they're not doing enough. Sometimes when you're having a big promotion, you can advertise that promotion, not just to your customers, but to your affiliates as well. You can say, hey, we're doing a big Black Friday sale. We're doing a big Cyber Monday sale. Affiliates, you're in our network. Once we've already gotten 70 of you inside of our network, we can go out and say, hey, we're offering a bigger discount on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Go tell all of your subscribers, your viewers, your Instagram followers that we're offering this bigger sale. And, you're going to get more sales on that day as well. So I think people aren't doing 3 things here. 1, they're not doing enough high enough commissions. 2, they're not promoting their own promotions to their affiliates with Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, July 4th sales, New Year, New You. 3 is I've seen a couple of businesses do this, which is promotions to affiliates.
Yeah.
So instead of saying 25% off to customers, they say, hey, affiliates, this weekend, we're going to go out and give 40% off. Or we're going to give you 40% commission, or we were giving you 20%. We're Earth Breeze, we were giving you 2%. Now we're going to give you 30% this weekend only. And do you know what happens? All of a sudden, if you're when I'm on Instagram, I can see when this is happening, when I'm like, oh, this brand is offering a better deal to affiliates this weekend, because I just saw 30 affiliates post about this brand right now.
Yeah.
And no one does that. No one's like, let me take the promotion and offer it to an affiliate as well. They're only offer it to customers. And if you offer it to affiliates, you can do it way more often, right?
Totally.
You can't offer 25% off every week to your customers. You're going to ruin your brand. You can offer 25% once a month, twice a month to affiliates to try and get that flywheel effect going.
Totally.
I've seen some brands being like, the number 1 affiliate will get a Toyota Camry this weekend.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of being in retail and telling Whole Foods, we'll give you 5 extra pallets if you give us placement at the front of the store.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's when I was in a liquor business, they'd always be like, if you sell a lot of this, we're just gonna, technically we're not allowed to do this, but they're legally they're not allowed to, but they'd be like, yeah, we're going to drop off an extra case of this product because you were good to us and we're going to be good to you. So you're going to get an extra, this is $60 bottle bourbon. We're going to drop off an extra 6-pack or 12-pack to you. This stuff happens. You should do this. I think people should do promotions to affiliates all the time.
For sure.
Not enough people do this. This requires a little bit of success with the affiliate network already. It probably isn't you can't launch a business and be like, I'm going to start an affiliate network.
Yeah.
That's my number 1 channel, I think.
Unless you have crazy hype out the gate and everybody wants to be a reseller or hold your product.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I think people can do. Far higher commissions, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, tell your affiliates that you're doing these promotions so they can get ready for them, and promotions to affiliates, communicate with them, offer them higher commissions for certain weekends.
I got one more.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Skimlinks?
Yes.
So Skimlinks is owned by Taboola, but it is integrated directly into the CMS of all these big publishers, Condé Nast, BuzzFeed, Refinery29. And when your PR teams, or even if you are just reaching out to editors to get included in roundups, listicles, slideshows, etc., they look to see if you're in Skimlinks to see if, they're going to make money off of writing about you. And if you're not in Skimlinks, they'll probably default to Amazon, or you probably won't get mentioned at all. But if you're on Skimlinks, there's a much higher chance you're going to get included. And one hot tip that always comes in clutch is once you submit for Skimlinks, you have to email their support email to tell them to approve your application. Otherwise, you'll never get approved.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. Okay, I've got 2 more that I wanted to mention, actually, that are side topics to this. One is, when I was a native, I contacted the Bustle and a few other publications, and I was like, look, you guys are SEO'd well for deodorants. You talk about deodorants all over the place. No problem. I'm not asking you to change any of your content. What I'm asking you to do
but change it.
Yeah, they would change it. Is that what we just said? They would change it? Yeah. I'm sure they would. But I was like, just let me Facebook pixel 5 pages on your site.
Yeah.
These 5 pages where you talk about deodorants. So if someone is searching deodorant and they end up going to a page where you secret is amazing, or we did this test on secret deodorant and it was amazing, or anything. I was like, let me just pixel that page. You don't have to pixel I won't pixel any other part of your site, and I'll give you 80% commission off that because you're a big institution. Let me offer you a ton of money to get you to do that. And there's no cost. All you have to do is drop a pixel on 5 pages, and that's it. You don't have to do it on bustle.com or refinery29.com. I don't know if those organizations still are as powerful as they used
probably
to be
not.
5 years ago, but they were SEO'd so well where I was like, let me just do this. And so similarly, if you're a different brand today and you Google your category, if you're deodorant today, I don't know what shows up as number 1, but can you pixel that page? Can you could I pixel deodorant on Wikipedia? If so, that'd be probably a lot of qualified users.
Wait, so 80% commission, so 80% of the gross sale that you would...
Yes. So basically I'd be like, I might even take a little bit of a loss on this, but I need to get the bustle excited about this. Because I was also like, look, we're going to sell $12 of deodorant. You're going to make, $10 off this thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to do this for $3,
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, look, I could do this, or, I can buy some first class stamps. It'll be the same.
And knowing you took that lookalike audience and you paid 0 commission.
That's right. But I thought it was I thought it was a great idea. I thought more people should be doing that. Go and try and work with people who are SEO'd well in your category and see if you can drop affiliate links on their pages, or at least Facebook pixels on their pages, so that you can try and drive some sales from there.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to mention is, have you heard of reward style?
Yes.
Reward style is one of the, it's like the A-list of affiliate networks. It's got all the mommy bloggers that just drive a shitload of traffic and sales. Some of their people will make $1 million for brands in a single weekend. And other networks like that, they're usually flat fee plus affiliate commission.
Yeah.
Which if you're a small brand, it's hard to do a $50K fee plus commission on top. But if you're a sizable brand, these things, they're so underrated.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I wanted to talk about one last part about affiliates, which was Thrive Market. Do you know Thrive Market?
Yeah, of course.
Early on, what they did is they got a bunch of affiliates to invest in the business, and that really helped drive their growth when they started the business. So if you look at there's this woman named Katie Wells.
Yep.
She started a blog called Wellness Mama, which, you probably haven't heard of because you're not a mom. But, she has a blog, and for a while it used to be a top 2,500 website in the United States.
Wow,
I don't know
still
if it
gets
still
500,000 visits.
Yeah. There's another one.
Crazy.
Mark Sisson has a blog called The Daily Apple or something. And he was a big keto, super healthy type of guy. I think both of them ended up being investors in Thrive. I know Katie did. I'm not sure about Mark, but I know Katie is.
Mark's site, when you land there, has a pop-up to get a discount on Primal Kitchen.
Yeah. Well, in his defense, Primal Kitchen is his own brand, to be clear.
Okay,
he started Primal Kitchen, and Katie Wells has started a brand herself. But what they did is they at least Thrive got at least Katie to be an investor, and she mentions this on her blog. And she's going around her daily life. First, she's talking about Thrive, because she'll be she'll take a video and you'll see a Thrive product in the background. Or she'll be like, hey, I'm going to show you a recipe. You need to make this thing with garbanzo beans. And she's got Thrive Market. She's got a link to the Thrive Market garbanzo beans on there.
Yeah.
I think Kettle and Fire did this as well, but I'm not entirely sure. They just got a bunch of affiliates early on to be investors, and those affiliates really helped drive a ton of traffic and revenue to grow the brand before they could work on paid social and everything else. And they're basically look, this allows us to get revenue without having to be at the mercy of Facebook ads, which is amazing, and helps us get revenue without, if you're going to start a brand like Thrive Market, you're going to spend a fortune testing on what works on Facebook, what doesn't, does this membership model work? How much inventory do I need? Early on, they could be look, we only pay for a sale when we get a sale.
Yeah.
And I've seen other people who are the way we're going to structure this equity for this affiliate is they get more, they don't get dollars when they make sales. They get more equity in our business when they make sales.
Wow.
So they're super incentivized to get sales. The more sales they get, the more equity they get, and the more valuable that equity becomes because they've gotten us a sale as well.
Damn,
so it wasn't just
you
get
model.
$10. They're you get another 2 shares, and those 2 shares are worth more because you just got a sales tip.
Right.
And so I thought that was really interesting. And like, I feel like affiliates is an untouched or like not very well talked about part of the business.
Agreed.
I don't think for a lot of people, it's going to be 50% of the business here, but I think it easily can be 10% of the business in a way that like, if you've reached a certain level of scale, you can get there.
Yeah. I think 10 to 20% is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
If you're a sizable business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it just helps you balance your overall CAC.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
That is like the beauty of affiliate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of affiliates.
You can't just rely on paid social and PPC for growth. Hundreds of brands like True Classic, Daily Harvest, and Manscaped have turned to TV advertising using Tatari's platform, and they're absolutely crushing their acquisition goals. Many of my own clients at Hooks also use Tatari.
We used them while I was at Native too, and I can tell you that their team is awesome and the measurement is just like digital. So you'll see site visits, purchases, or even installs from TV. Check out their 3-minute video at tatari.tv/limited supply. Okay, I know you want to talk about landing pages, social media. There's one more thing I want to chat about, which is infomercials. Tell me what order you want to go in.
Let's do infomercials.
Okay. I think brands are not using infomercials enough. And I think this is going to cater to brands that are probably north of $25-50 million that are listening to this. But like the Hexclad guys, aren't they perfect for infomercials?
Perfect.
I mean, look, they're killing it already.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that why aren't they doing it? They probably are like, look, we have 4 million things to do. We're crushing it on Facebook like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't have time to worry about an infomercial, which is going to take a lot of time and resources, and it's a big test. But I do think that would be a brand that's perfect for infomercials.
100%. Honestly, anything that you can demonstrate is perfect. Have you, did I send you the Twice toothpaste recording from TikTok?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so I was scrolling TikTok the other night, and at probably like 9 or 10 p.m., and I come across Twice Toothpaste, which is a company I advised for years. And they're on TikTok Live. They've got a whole background in one of their bedrooms, like, plastered out in yellow, their brand colors. They've got a sign up on the wall, kind of like a happy birthday sign, but it just says, spells out Twice. And you've got the two founders. One is behind the camera. The other is like constantly coming in the frame and showing a product and then ducking away. They've got 700 people on live. People are buying products. Like one product is selling every 30 seconds. And it's kind of like the new age infomercial, all integrated in TikTok. It took me like 3 clicks to buy the product. TikTok is also pushing this.
Like that TikTok shop, right? Like a shop inside TikTok where you complete checkout inside TikTok.
Complete checkout. Paid with Apple Pay, so there's no friction. You put your address in once, you'll never have to put it in again. And TikTok is also like covering 30% of the bill. So it was like, it was like an $8 product. I think I paid $4.99 for it off my card. I don't know how they're shipping it or how they're paying for it. I think TikTok is also subsidizing the shipping. But when I saw that, I was like, this is the new infomercial. And if you just scroll, it's like, there's like farms in China, just warehouses full of people selling, like one warehouse probably selling 100 different things on live. And they all have like 1,000 viewers, 500 viewers. They're making sales like crazy.
That's so interesting. There used to be this thing in China. I'm not sure if it's still there. They tried to bring it to the US. It didn't work out. Where basically someone would go into like TJ Maxx and be like, let me talk to you about this product.
Yeah.
And all these people would tune into the live. In China, like there'd be a person who went to a US TJ Maxx and TJ Maxx would be like, we're closing the store for this influencer to go around our store and talk about these products, because once she was done, the store was sold out of everything. She'd go through like that home goods section and people would be like, I want to buy this. I want to buy this. She's like, there's 7 of these bowls. They're $7.99. They look this good. And she'd be like, we can talk about it for 3 seconds because they're all sold out because people are like, I bought that one.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting. I wonder if like TikTok Live and Instagram Live are going to be the new level of infomercial. When I was initially thinking about the subject, I was like, the older infomercial should still exist for companies like Hexclad and Mycin and even a mattress company. And the other thing I thought about this with infomercials is not enough, like people, like first direct to consumer just hasn't touched it. If you watch like CNN in the middle, like sometimes I go to the gym and I've got YouTube TV on my phone, I'll watch the news. and I'll see like the same ad over and over again. And I'm like, like there's this ad for a company called Car Shield where they basically sell you a car warranty. You know what I'm talking about?
The same ad for probably 5 years.
They've been running it for the guy who's running it, he might be as rich as Bill Gates at this point. Yeah. I'm just like, you are not running it this often, this long. Yeah. You didn't put in a 5-year commitment in 2017. Okay. Yeah. You've been doing this because it's been working really successfully. So I'm wondering why direct-to-consumer brands aren't doing this. And the other level that they've switched to is they have like great tier 2 influencers.
Yeah.
Donovan McNabb. Yeah. Okay. Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas is like, hey, his name was the Big Hurt when he was playing for like the Chicago White Sox. He's talking about testosterone. He's like, you want to be big and bulky and like me, like, I was a huge guy. You need testosterone. You know how much Frank Thomas charges for, like, it's really expensive to get Kim Kardashian and Tom Brady. Yeah. It's probably a lot cheaper to get Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, $100 an hour.
Who was like, pulled over once, I think, for something he shouldn't have been doing. And, it's probably like, was an influencer or like was a really relevant person 10 years ago. And that sort of has faded. And now he's like, I might do, like, who'd be cheap? Scottie Pippen. Yeah. Like, when was the last time you saw Scottie Pippen doing it? He didn't make a ton of money on the Bulls. He hasn't played basketball in 20 years. I think
people would recognize his name and probably stay to see what he has to say.
That's right. Yeah. If I saw Scottie Pippen doing something, I'd be like, is this Scottie Pippen? Like, what's going on? And yes, it wouldn't appeal to the 22-year-olds who probably never saw him play basketball, but it would appeal to every single guy over the age of 32 because they watched him and they know exactly who he is.
100%.
And he'd be so cheap. I'm not sure why people aren't doing that. And I think this is especially true. Like, I was thinking about this. I was like, who would really benefit from this? And I thought, the True Classic guys, when we were talking to them and they're like, look, we have all these stores that we're opening up kind of at like just outside of Chicago. There was a baseball player named Mark Grace and another one named Ryan Sandberg on the Chicago Cubs that were playing in the 1990s. You know what I would do is I would hire those guys and do a local commercial to make that store blow up. Especially if I was doing a grand opening, I'd be like, Mark Grace and Ryan Sandberg are going to be there. They're going to be signing autographs. Commercial with Mark Grace and Ryan Sandberg. They're going to be talking about True Classic tees and how much they love them. In Chicago, that would resonate so well. Might not resonate everywhere in Miami, but
but locally it'll crush.
That's right. And a tier 2 influencer like that, and that might be even I don't know if tier 2 is right or tier 3 or whatever it is. They're going to be slightly more than the random guy you hire off the street. Yeah. Significantly less than an influencer that you'd be like, wow, I have to pay this. I have to think about it.
Yeah. It's like when churches put events on and they're like, this athlete used to play for the New York Jets and now he's coming here on Sunday.
That's right.
It works the same way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. And so I thought that like not enough people are doing infomercials. I think you're right. I didn't think about your idea, which was TikTok and Instagram infomercials. I meant like the old classic ones. I think the mattress companies could do it. I think like all of the knife companies could do it. I think the cookware companies could do it. Like, who's that cookware company? I think you're an investor in it. Like Caraway. Yeah. Caraway could do it. Oh, I think a lot of these guys could do it. I even think like Outdoor Voices could have done it.
Yeah.
And been like, hey,
anything where you can like really show or touch or feel or kind of show stretchiness or durability.
That's right.
Would have done really well.
Yeah. And then with tier 2 influencers like that, like, you have an old athlete who used to be on the Olympic team, like Michelle Kwan, who's, she used to do figure skating and she's like, now I love Outdoor Voices and I go running in them. I'd be like, wow, what is this? What's going on here? So I think there's an unmissed opportunity. I think the hard part is that takes time and like a lot of if you want to do this, you start today, it'll be done 3 months, 6 months from now. It won't be done tomorrow like Facebook ads. But I thought like, affiliates and infomercials are the two where I'm like, these are things that are untouched that once you get to 25, 50, 100 million in revenue, you're like, okay, I need like Facebook ads. I'm kind of maxing out on those Facebook ads. What else can I do? I think these are great.
Yeah. I would bet too, like the channels that the infomercials air on are probably some of the best forms of validation you can go into a retailer with and say, look, we sold out on QVC. This is why you should take our product.
Yeah, that's a great
It's probably
point.
a lot more valuable than being mentioned in Town and Country or Pop Sugar.
That's right. When we were at Native and we were about to launch it at Target, I worked with Tatari and I was like, they're the sponsor. I was like, hey, I think we need to run a bunch of ads inside Minneapolis so that when basically any Target person turns on their TV, they're like, oh, we see Native deodorant.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
going on here?
We did the same at Hint. We would just geo-target all of that area and run like 5 different whitelisted pages.
Yeah.
Same idea. Where the fuck are these guys? They're
I wonder
everywhere.
if like ads are surprisingly expensive in Minneapolis and Bentonville.
In
People are
Bentonville,
like, what?
yeah.
Why would an ad in Bentonville, Arkansas be expensive? And you're like, I'm just hitting the right guy. If you go to like Cincinnati Airport, all of the ads at the airport are like for, you're working with Procter & Gamble, let us do that, do this, or you are Procter & Gamble, do this, do this, do this. That's who they're selling to. But okay, we've talked about the niche forms of marketing. You're going to talk about the bigger forms of marketing, Facebook ads, landing pages. Tell me about what you were going to talk about.
All right, we'll start with landing pages, and then we can go into paid social. And feel free to riff in or stop me. So I have this acronym that I use for paid journeys, which is TRACE: Technology, Reporting, Audience, Creative, Experience. Wow. You want to have the TRACE set. Yeah, before you start your campaign.
Yeah.
So technology is really like, what are all the softwares you're using? Anything from no commerce to any sort of tools you use to build ads. Reporting is your, Triple Whale, Northbeam, Peel Insights, whatever it may be. Audiences is who you're targeting.
Yeah.
And really also, what's the problem that you're focusing on behind that audience? Creative is the actual messaging, positioning, and visual creative. And then experience is where are you leading these people? So once they click, what is a post-click experience? Wow. So let me go into the E part, the experience, the landing pages. So most people drive people to a homepage or a product page. That's generally the 2 places people go. And if you're running feed-based advertising, you're definitely running to a PDP. Most PDPs and most homepages are not optimized for a couple of reasons. One is most people just use kind of a regular theme setup for a PDP. It's like it starts with the product, you scroll a little bit, maybe you get one section of information, and then it's usually reviews and then footer.
Sure.
So you're not really answering some of the main questions somebody has.
Yeah.
And you're making it very easy for somebody to want to leave and go Google things and find answers.
And you have to have different real estate for a brand that like, where you're like, I know what this brand is, I know what I want, versus I'm being introduced to this, right? Like you have a different sales pitch.
Exactly.
And so you need a different sales pitch with the landing page here.
Exactly. Now, if you're going to the homepage, you're kind of doing something similar, although the homepage generally does a better job of introducing you to a brand, but it is still very much focused on speaking in one way. So if I go to the Long Weekend homepage, it's going to talk about the brand in one way. That might be just, Long Weekend does this and we sell this, but it doesn't specifically answer a question or a problem that somebody has as they come in. So this is where I think landing, and also if you go to the homepage, you're going to the homepage, then you're going to a collections page, and then you're going to a product page, and then you might leave and go read something. And so you're just, every click you add, you have an opportunity for somebody to leave.
Yes.
So
and they will take that opportunity.
They will definitely take that opportunity. So this is where I think landing pages get really helpful. So, with the landing page, when you're driving somebody to the page, you're really focused on answering a specific question that somebody has.
And is that tied to the creative? You're sort of like, here's my creative.
Yeah.
I need to answer like whatever that creative was about, whether it's targeting old people who are going to love outdoor voices because it's easy to put on and off and stretchy.
Yeah.
That's what you got to talk about in the landing page.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to extend Trace to add an R for remarketing. We're going to call it Tracer. That's the new acronym. Wow. So audience is where the problem starts and you're trying to find an angle. So let's say you have a cream, right? It is a cooling cream. Now, your homepage will talk about it as a cooling cream. Your product page will say, this is a cooling cream with 8.4 ounces. The audience you're going after might be, let's call it like an older guy, right? You have to create a problem. You have to create a reason and a hook. So it starts with the creative. Let's say the hook is, oh, do you have itchy feet at night? We have a cooling cream. So that's your hook. Once somebody clicks that, when they click, they expect to have the same messaging on the page they get to. Sure. If you're going to a product page or a home page, there's no way you can do that. But if you're going to a landing page, you can either dynamically do that by UTM parameters in the ad, or you can just have a landing page that correlates back to that ad set or that campaign. And then even when people enter their email, the first email they should get following abandoning your site is, hey, do you have itching feet? Not, welcome to our brand. Let me teach you about who our founder is, because they don't really care.
Wow.
They're there for the angle that they clicked on.
So you do creative to landing page, which I knew, but landing page to also first
to the email. So if you're getting 12% of people to put their email in and only 3% are buying, you have 9% of people that hit your site that you're just wasting emails to. So anyways, I think the biggest advantage of a landing page is you keep messaging consistent, which is like, how many times have you clicked on an ad for something that you saw, you get to the page and you're like, wait a second, the product I clicked the ad for, this is not the same color, it's not the same product, somebody else, it's a completely different thing, and you just leave right away. It's really just because you haven't created a consistent journey.
Yes.
So when somebody gets to your page, I think you want to answer 5 questions constantly, over and over again. These are the 5 questions you want to answer. You want to answer, what are you selling? Why should someone care? What are the benefits somebody's going to get? Not the value prop. So not that it's a cooling cream, but instead that you're going to sleep without itchy feet at night. How does this product compare to other options on the market? And then how soon will it arrive if I order it right now?
I think that last question is super important, and a lot of brands don't talk about it.
Agreed.
Where you're like, on Amazon, it's on every single product page. You're like, if you order this today, this is when it's going to arrive.
Yeah.
Even if you give a date where you're like, I use UPSMI, and you're like, I don't know when this is going to arrive, but like, give a date.
You can always under promise and over deliver.
That's right. Yeah. The other thing I think that should always be on a landing page is social proof, like reviews.
Oh yeah,
people
100%.
Like, look, I've used this product and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Look, reviews are manipulated everywhere, on Yelp, on Amazon, everywhere you've ever been. And yet people are still like, I read a review and it said this. And you're like it's still enough. There's still enough trust inside reviews where people listen to it.
So one interesting thought that came to mind is the messaging, the way you write your landing page. You want to write it in a way where when you read it, you feel like you have the ammo for when somebody asks you, why'd you make this purchase?
Yeah.
Or, if you're selling this is actually the biggest trick selling to men. If you sell to men, you want to make sure they have the ammo for when their girlfriend says, why the fuck did you just order this? What is this shit that just showed up on the door? That is the stuff you need to have on your landing page. So some other things that I think, above the fold requirements, one is a really good headline, something juicy, focused on a singular benefit. Again, you don't want to just talk about the best cooling cream or the best this. You want to have something that,
sleep
again,
without itchy feet.
Exactly. Finally, a way to sleep without itchy feet. A supporting headline underneath that, ideally like 1 to 3 bullets or a small sentence that, again, re-emphasizes the same singular benefit. The best landing pages, in my opinion, are very narrow and niche. And then social proof. So whether that's a quote that, again, reiterates the same benefit, and all the quotes on the page, whether it's from press or customers or whatever it may be, should always iterate benefits versus just the brand exists and it was quoted by New York Times. No, go get the one sentence where they talk about a benefit from the product. It could also be star reviews. So, 542 5-star reviews. You need some sort of social proof.
Yeah.
And then you need some sort of a fail safe. So in the hero section, 4,500 units sold, 50,000 happy customers, happiness guarantee, 60-day money back return policy. Something that makes somebody feel confident that if they don't like it, there's a fail safe for them.
I've got 2 comments to that. Let me stop you for 1 second. One is when we were doing the pop-ups for native, and we'd be like, hey, buy this, at the post-purchase pop-up, buy this travel size, we'd say 1,200 people have accepted this offer today because airlines, when you're checking out an airline, they're like, you don't want insurance. Yeah. They're like 800 people have taken insurance today. I'm like, who are these 800 idiots?
Yeah.
But that's what we say. And we A/B tested it with this guy named, what was his name? Ben, I think it was, from Conversion XL. And he was like, we proved that it actually mattered. It was putting 1,200 people have taken this offer today did matter. Like, it was statistically significant and it did matter.
Yeah.
Let me ask one question before you continue on, which is, okay, if I'm spending $1,000 a day on Facebook ads, how many landing pages should I expect to have?
2. You shouldn't have that many. And I'll get into this in the paid social spot, but you just need to find one thing that converts to get you to 5K a day.
Gotcha.
I think it was 1 or 2 episodes ago, we talked about the increments to hit. I think it might have been the Q&A. But you got to get to 1K a day, and then you got to get to 2,500 a day, and then you got to get to 5K a day.
And all of that I can do on
1 or 2 pages.
Okay, gotcha.
And if you need more than that, then you're too distracted. You're selling the wrong offer. You're not positioning it properly, and you need to find the angle. The angle is honestly finding an angle is your best friend. You cannot just say we're a new cream on the market. We're excited to be here, and we have all these great benefits. You have to have some reason that you're connecting emotionally where somebody's going to really just make the pounce and buy. All right, some other must-haves on your landing page. Sticky CTA. You should never not be visible with a CTA. as you scroll, whether it's above or below, there should be something that's sticky. If you're over $100, you should have buy now, pay later options. Like, I don't think many people use the buy now, pay later, but just having it there gets people toward checkout and incentivizes the click. You should have price per use or price per day if you're a consumable. So if you sell a hydration packet and it's, $29.99 for a 30 stick trial packet, you should be calling that less than $1 a day or, less than $2 a day. You want to make it something that's super easy for people to comprehend. And then you also want to have all your buttons. So if you have a landing page and you're driving people straight to cart, make sure that your coupon code is listed there because you want to re-emphasize. It's just another way to mask and re-emphasize that somebody's about to get a discount. Use VIP20 for 20% off at checkout, but that URL should already have that included.
Yeah.
So that when they get there and they forget, they're not worried about bouncing.
Yeah, it says VIP20 has been applied.
Exactly.
You're going to save big.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I think is cross-sells and upsells. So, if I add one product to cart, the first thing that should happen is a pop-up that says, do you also want to add this? Or if it's one stick of deodorant, do you want to add 2 more to complete your set? Or do you want to subscribe and save 20%? And then same thing in the cart. Like landing page carts, I think are, it's not your main website cart, so you can get a little bit more like direct response-y. And I think landing page carts are where you go hard.
Yeah. This is all great. Like those, you can use URLs or UTM parameters. I think like people would be like, how do I do this with like, if I was Postpilot, right? If I'm Drew Sanaki or if I'm Tatari and I'm like, how do I do this? We actually solve this issue at Native. And so what we did is we actually created separate URLs. So instead of going, nativecos.com was our main site. And then when we were advertising on TV, we'd be like, go to nativedeodorant.com.
Yeah.
When we were advertising with Drew at Postpilot, we'd be like, go to nativedeo.com. Like, we'd have different links that would redirect to a page. And we're like, now we understand where you came from. And we're going to take you to this landing page. Because otherwise, this is perfect for social media, but it gets really hard when you go offline and you can create separate URLs specific for everything. Like, this could be, this is a BrewMate water bottle. If you're trying to buy it, and I'm sending you a piece of mail or advertising on TV, I could be brewmatewater.com.
Yeah.
That's how you get those types of sales.
100%.
And make sure that you can still direct to the correct landing page.
Yeah. This works really well too for out-of-home ads that are locally done.
Yeah.
Or even like tech companies like, do you know Highbeam, that bank?
Yeah.
They do like what's the APR.com and it just takes you to like an APR calculator for all the lending services.
Yeah.
But yeah, super underrated tactic. The other one obviously is like you just make redirects. So nativecos.com/TVIP or /TV. Actually, one thing that I think is still underrated that we used to do with Judy TV ads is it would be judy.co/TV. And then it would go through GeoTargetly, which is like a IP-based redirect tool. And based on your where you came from, which state, we directed you to a different landing page so that we were running a national TV ad with Remnant Media, but then whoever saw it, they would see an emergency guide for their specific state.
Gotcha. So like California earthquakes.
Exactly.
Florida hurricanes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
California, everything now. Actually, wildfires, hurricanes, and earthquakes.
Yeah.
Be prepared for all 3 of them.
Exactly.
Zombie apocalypse, Oklahoma.
That's definitely California.
Wow, that's a really interesting idea. I never heard of that.
Yeah.
I never loved doing the /TV because I just assumed no one would do it. Like whenever I see that, I'm like, why would I put in?
Yeah.
Like you listen to a podcast and you're like /Joe Rogan, and I'm like, I'm not going to put in Joe Rogan in here.
Tatari.tv.
Ironically, yeah. That's what we're doing. But I do think that URL structure is a way to get around it, but still get to people at the landing page.
Yeah.
And a way to like, get people excited about the brand without having to remember something like /limited/supply plus Nik minus more, all that kind of stuff in a URL.
Actually, you should go to getontatari.com. That's a better link.
Yeah. Is that the link? Or
I'm buying that right now.
Okay. I love it.
It's going to redirect.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think landing pages, they're also just mobile optimized.
Yeah.
They're optimized for speed. They load instantly.
Yeah.
You don't have every single Shopify app on your mobile app, on your landing page. So it just loads quicker.
It's so well created for salesmanship. Like here's the problem, here's issue, here's the other benefits. You probably don't need to know all of this tiny information, like, ships to these states, like you can get to you can include FAQs on there, the social proof, like there's so many add to cart buttons as you're scrolling down. It really is phenomenal in a way where you're not like, this is going to ruin my brand if it's the new PDP and returning customers see this.
Yeah.
It's like real estate special for new customers, returning customers won't see it. You can offer bigger discounts. The one other thing I would imagine, the other thing I would add is probably have a bunch of call to actions as you're scrolling down. And all those call to actions should be the same color and a unique color versus everything else on the page.
Yes. And the last thing I was going to add there is all the call to actions should be new text. So pick my color, save 20%.
Yeah. Sleep without itchy feet.
Yeah. Add to cart and save 20%.
Yeah.
Get 20% off today. All things that kind of new, so it feels like you're not seeing the exact same thing.
Wow. I didn't think about that. That's really interesting. You can't just write add to cart, add to cart, add to cart.
Exactly.
Get sexier inside the call to action.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
Last thoughts on landing pages. I'm somebody who can't code. Like the one, we might be the two Indians who can't code. So I love using Unbounce. It's all drag and drop. But another really good builder is Replo. And then obviously if you use Shopify 2.0, if you can get a good dev to build you a template, then you just have one template and you just keep duplicating it. In fact, our best hooks customers will just buy like 2 or 3 pages. We'll design it, develop it in Shopify, and then we never hear from them again. And it makes me so happy.
40 of them.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
They have like 50 different variations, all different audiences.
That is a great point to mention, which is like the other great part about this is you don't need a developer. The one thing I've noticed in the e-commerce community is virtually everyone doesn't have good tech talent. Everyone's like, I have this one guy who's shared across 5 other guys. And I'm like, how big is your brand? They're like $300 million. I'm like, what? What do you do? You have one guy and you have 3. You're like, don't. And like that's a pretty common thing that I see in the e-commerce world, especially if you're like a smaller brand, sub $10 million. You're like, I can't afford to keep going out there and coding new pages.
Yeah.
And so that's a great point. You can just change the text, change the copy. Often even the social proof can be used over and over again. Yeah. These guys deliver. It's authentic. It's amazing. This is fantastic. Yes, it did solve my cold. Like a lot of those issues can be had without having to reduplicate everything. Just have to change headlines and a few other things.
Yeah, and the other great thing too is like, so a lot of our really smart like hooks people, they'll say we want a listicle on our landing page and a comparison chart and a really good shop section and a really good hero. And then what they'll do is they'll duplicate the page. They'll turn everything off except the listicle. Now they just created a whole new page out of the first page they paid for. Or same thing. You like
so actually they're making you do 5 pages.
Exactly, but it's really in one. Yeah, which I'm surprised more people don't do.
Is there a too long of a landing page or no?
I don't think so. I mean, in my thinking, I think that a really good landing page should just keep answering those 5 questions, and either it'll end because that's all you have to say, but I think you can keep going because if somebody's satisfied, they'll click a CTA, and if they're not, they want to keep learning, they'll just keep scrolling. Yeah,
that's so interesting. I thought like there was this one sidebar ad I saw on the Wall Street Journal from FedEx.com.
Yeah.
And every time you scrolled over it, it changed the text on the ad. And it would be an hourglass that would flip and it would change the text.
Yeah.
And I did it and I kept reading the text and I did it the 20th time and it said, you've done this 20 times already. Why aren't you clicking? And I was like, this is genius.
That is so
and you're right. I think if the person's willing to keep scrolling, show them more information. Maybe those 5 questions didn't do it. Maybe there's another 5 that they want to answer. They want to ask. Like keep going through that. Like at some point you're going to get to an end, but like you can go pretty long. You don't want to make your page load really slow, but you can go pretty long if you feel like you've got new information that you can get.
Yeah. You know who used to do really long landers is, one, anybody who advertises on Taboola.
Yeah.
Like Taboola and Outbrain, they crush the long landers. In fact, the other day I asked my mom like, hey, have you heard of a supplement for this purpose? Just because I was like, nosy. And she sends me a landing page listicle from Taboola. And I was like, Mom, this is, you got. She's like, no, these are the top 5. And I'm like, no, Mom, do you see this is an advertorial?
That's Taboola.
Yeah. And then the other one is Kettle and Fire. Their OG landing pages were like 2 miles long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we've got time for the social media one. I think we've got to save it for a different episode.
Yeah, man, that was a good one. I've got like a whole page and a half of goodies on that one.
Okay, great. We're going to do that the next episode. Let's do episode 6. We'll talk about social media.
Perfect.
I didn't think we'd have this much to talk about non-social media advertising.
I know.
This was really good. I love those landing page tips because whenever you talk about landing pages, I'm always like a little afraid of them. I'm afraid of what information I should put, which is what you covered, but also should I have 400 of these? Because sometimes I'll have, a ton of ads.
Yeah.
But it's really helpful to know, two can get you to $5,000 and spend a day.
I'm really excited to talk about the social media stuff, mainly because I think a lot of that will connect back to this.
Yeah.
And it'll really answer that question of like, how many things do I need to do right?
Yeah.
Or like, what all do I need to do?
And you got to tie that creative into the social. I didn't know you had to tie the social, the landing page into the email, which is what I learned today. But you also have to tie the creative, obviously, into the landing page.
By the way, getontatari.com looks so sick now.
Okay, awesome. That's a wrap for episode 5. Episode 6 is going to be social media. We're definitely going to cover Facebook. I want to talk a little bit about Pinterest.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like the Instagram shopping things. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Amazing.
Looking forward to that in episode 6.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time to cut through the noise in CPG, retail, and e-commerce.
And if you enjoyed this episode, then why not share it with a friend? And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss the next one.